Hi, party people. Welcome. Welcome. This is episode 1 of Trials of Tartarus, our Aegon campaign. I have some beautiful people with me tonight. However, you will notice one empty spot where Bedave would usually be. He was going to be joining us, but it turns out his daughters had a beautiful Father's Day surprise in store for him, and we told him that was just more important and he should go enjoy himself, and we will find a wonderful dramatic way to introduce his character, Memnon, later on. So, the beautiful folks that I do have with me, Mason Dula, Tanya DePass, Justice Hughes. I'm Diana D'Amico. I'm going to be the strife maker for this particular game, which means that I put these people through hell. Mason, I'm going to have you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about Hero. I swear to God I fixed his name, so it's spelled wrong on the screen, but not in here and not in here. Pants Leos. Wait, Justice, yours is wrong too? Oh, okay, well, just fucking up all over the place. Anyway, Mason, who are you? Oh, wait. It's fine. I fixed it. It took a minute. I had to hit the button. Mason, do me a favor. Can you speak up a little bit? Can you turn your mic up? Because it's picking everyone else up.
What's up? Has anyone else spoken?
Spoken.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
You know what, Mason? We're gonna go back to you.
Well, skip me.
We're gonna go back to you. Because that Jesus Christ, you guys, I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
We'll
Audio
do better.
Is the final boss of streaming.
We'll be better. I haven't had a problem like
fine.
that in like months now, so the fact that it's happening
I mean, tonight would be the night for it to happen.
You know, of course. You know.
All things considered.
I haven't had enough caffeine today.
Let me see if I can summarize this in a much quicker, more concise way. Hero
I actually wanted you to introduce yourself as a person and not Hero.
Me as a person? You said... Okay. Then, hi, guys.
I love you, Mason.
My name is Mason Dula. You can find me over at WizardX TV, where I end up doing a lot of dungeon mastering and keepering and storytelling and stuff. We do a lot of fun RPG style things over there. And then Diana was nice enough to invite me to be here to be a hero, so I am.
And then I muted you.
And then she muted me, and then I introduced my character instead of me, apparently. So
it's okay. You know what? It's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Tanya.
Hello. And I'm talking about me, right?
Yes, you're talking about you, the person, the beauteous creature in front of us.
I'm Tanya, also known as Cypher of Tier Everywhere Online. If you watch Rivals Waterdeep, I'm Celeste Astorio, the human paladin there. And also I play IGM on Wandering DM's channel, playing all the NPCs and the Inquisitor. Fenris as the Inquisitor. Thursday nights when we resume our second season next month. I do a lot of RPG stuff. I stream here on Twitch, which is mostly Animal Crossing lately, and or Assassin's Creed, so you get AC either way. And I yell a lot on the internet, and the last few weeks I've been doing a roundtable called the Black AF Roundtable, featuring a lot of Black folks in the RPG space, and us being very raw, open, and emotional.
They're very
and
good.
hopefully people actually learn from it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the one for D&D Live. That was informative and wonderful and invigorating to watch. So I know I personally am very appreciative of that. That whole series has been beneficial to me. Justice?
Hi, I am Justice. I am one half of the team here at Bardbarian, and I do I do the streaming type stuff on here. I'm new to it, so I'm fumbling my way through. I'm trying my hand at DMing on a couple different things, and yeah, I'm enjoying where we're going with this. You can find me on the socials, spouting my mustachery as Stash Mandu.
How exactly does one spout mustachery? All right.
You'll have to go to my Instagram and find out.
Wow.
I live with you, so weird. But okay. Thank you guys for bearing with me as I make it so that you can actually hear what's happening here. This is going to be an adventure for everyone involved. None of us have ever played the Aegon system before. So this is not D&D. We are not doing a Theros campaign. This is something entirely different that none of us have ever done. So we'll probably mess up. But you know what? That's okay. It's meant to be fun. So let's immerse ourselves in the world of Aegon. You all, having just finished up a 20-year campaign, victorious in Troya, are finally setting sail on your way home. Now, you were all young when you left. You don't really remember before the war. Your life has been full of memories of violence and death, but also of camaraderie and bravery. You're familiar with each other, but not well acquainted. It was dangerous to be well acquainted with anyone on the battlefield. You faced a lot of loss that way. So, on this particular morning, the morning after you left the battlefield you'd known for 20 years, you rise to greet the day, the first sunup on the Arethusa. You're sailing the Barosagon Sea to voyage home. It was a hard-fought victory, but well worth it. Kaitia. Is it Katia? Is that how we decided to pronounce it? Katia. You awake at sunrise aboard the ship. What would you be doing to greet the day?
Katia would probably find somewhere quiet on deck to tend to her weapons. Have something to eat, whatever she could find on the ship. And then, depending on what else is going on, maybe make a circuit of the ship, check everything out because she's a little paranoid after having survived all of this. And then hang out in the crow's nest for a while.
Okay. And you mentioned polishing up your weapons. What kind of weapons does Katia use?
Katia mostly carries 2 long swords. She does have a small round shield in case she needs it, but she prefers 2-handed combat.
Okay. While you're sitting on deck, the sun is just beginning to rise, so it's a little bit hazy out, and there's a thick fog masking the top of the water. You can tell it's going to be a warm day. It's already really humid and kind of sticky, but that just means your weapons need all the more tending as you're sitting on deck. Hero, what would you be doing in the morning?
I would probably be kind of up there beside her, like, the thing that comes to mind is like John Smith in the beginning of the Pocahontas cartoon where he's like hanging off the rope before he like slides down, and very showboaty, and that's probably exactly what Hero would be doing. Just kind of sitting up there, kind of
bravely looking out over the horizon.
Yeah, whether he sees anything or not, he's going to be pretending that he's like, oh yeah, fog.
Classy. And Panthleos, where would you be?
Pamphlios is going to rise with everyone else when the ship starts waking up, and he'll do a quick check on his weapons, as living in a war camp for 20 years has probably ingrained that in him. Checking his weapons and then giving up a couple quick prayers to his pantheon, specifically Hephaestus. That's kind of his main guy. And yeah, I regret
Main
saying
squeeze.
it that way.
This dude.
Yeah, for the time being, he's shopping around.
No.
But Hephaestus, for the time being, he's going to offer up a quick prayer and maybe a little song on his lyre that he carries with him.
Pamphlios is very skilled with the lyre, is he not?
Yeah, he learned in camp, so his song selection might be a little limited and a little crass, but he's pretty good on it.
Okay.
He's been known to string a song.
Are you on deck doing this?
Yeah, after I do my my quiet time, my personal prayers and offerings, then I'll come up on deck and kind of play as the sun's coming up.
Okay. So from where all of you are, you can see Agenor. Agenor is the de facto captain of this ship. He was injured some years back in the war, and because he can't really use his arms the way he used to, he was put in a leadership position to direct rather than do the actual combat himself. So as the de facto leader of your vessel, he's preparing the daily sacrifice, this time to Poseidon, for a safe journey home. At the head of the ship, there's a slab of stone that he's using as an altar. It has 2 small vats of oil burning on either end. Never to let them go out is his main goal. He's preparing 3 fish that he's caught for the morning to use as his daily sacrifice, and earn the god's favor. So he's gutting the fish and laying down the meat. And he puts down 1 fish, 2 fish, and as he goes to gut the 3rd and place it on the altar beside his other 2 offerings, his eyes dart to the left. The mist that had previously just sort of been a little bit alarming on top of the water has quickly grown to a thick fog. And you can actually see there are now rocks, big rocks that could damage your ship, jutting out of the water in awkward directions. And before you have the opportunity to react, having seen your captain glance to the left and noting the rocks yourselves, you all feel a shift as the boat collides and starts scraping along the side of one of these rocks. You were moving at a pretty good speed. What would you all like to do?
From where I am, because by the time the sacrifice is happening, I'd probably be in the crow's nest.
Mm-hmm.
I would try to climb down after I've looked around to see if there's any place where we can kind of like try to aim for land or get away from these rocks.
Okay. Hero?
Can we gauge how bad the damage is so far? Like, is it like an imminent, like, we're going down situation, or like we need to limp to shore kind of?
You've spent enough time on the ship to know that it has a very thick hull, and you didn't just collide with the rock, you sort of just scraped against it. So
Okay.
it's more impending doom than immediate issue. There are several other crew members on deck, maybe who didn't see the blow coming and who are caught more unawares than the 3 of you.
Are any of them in immediate danger?
2 of them look like they're about to be thrown overboard.
I'm gonna swing down hero style and see if I can scoop them up and catch them before they meet their fate in the watery depths there.
Pamphlios?
Yeah, I'm gonna also look around to see if there's anybody else that was hurt by the collision or is in danger of flying overboard, and if there's nobody immediately close, then I'm going to run to the front of the ship where the captain is.
I will say, Pamphlios, you with your ties to Hephaestus, and knowing that he is the craftsman of the gods, you know that the captain is not going to be able to do anything because you are actually closest to the steering oars on this ship.
Well, is there nobody manning the steering oars? A crewman?
No, you all weren't supposed to hit land for days.
Okay. Then in that case, I will adjust that, and I will race to the steering oar and attempt to steer away from the rocks.
Okay. That brings us to our first contest. So, what I am going to do is the Strife Maker. I'm going to roll 2d6. Boy, this is really easy, you guys. The contest is going to be one of blood and valor, because this is mostly athletic prowess that we're talking about here. And the number to beat is a 9. So, for everyone's actions, I'm going to have everyone roll. If you think your epithet applies, I'm going to let you roll a d6 for your epithet. You're going to roll a d6 for your name, and then either a d6 or a d8, whatever you have in blood and valor.
So d6, d8, and I think, yeah, my epithet would apply this time.
Yeah.
Because I'm saving, I'm nimbly grabbing a dude from falling in.
And you're taking the 2 highest dice and adding them together.
Oh, so just the 2 highest. Okay.
Yeah.
So just double check name, epithet, and whatever your domain.
Well, whatever you have in blood and valor.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because that is the type of challenge that we're in.
Well.
So
you said
I beat that.
You
Okay.
said just the two highest?
Just the 2 highest.
Okay.
Tanya, what did you roll?
13 for my 2 highest dice.
Okay.
I got a 10.
10, Hero?
Yep.
Pamphios?
7.
7? Okay. So what that means, Pamphios, you're gonna suffer as you try and take your action. Hero, you are going to prevail.
Okay.
And Katia, you are our best in this particular contest. So we're gonna start with Pamphios. So Pamphios, you go for the steering oars, but the ship just glances against another rock and sort of throws you off kilter right at the last second when you're reaching for it. How do you react to that? Tell me what your failure looks like.
I race across the ship, and there's probably some water that is sloshed up on there from where we collided with that rock. And I do have my lyre in one hand still, because that is a fairly prized possession. I'm not going to just let it go. But I am racing towards the steering wheel with one arm. And as we collide with that next rock, I'm going to kind of grab at the wheel and get thrown off balance. So I actually end up taking the wheel the wrong direction that I wanted to, and I go tumbling across the deck.
Okay. But you let go of the wheel and kind of like... Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of just a big stick on Grecian ships, so that's understandable. Hero, you're successful in your action. What does that look like?
Okay. Heroes, he kind of now swings down. I'm going to grab the 2 guys that look like they're going to, or women, I don't know who, or whoever. I don't know who was falling overboard. I'm assuming they're people. And I'm going to grab them as they begin to tumble. As I see now that we're now careening in the wrong direction, as Pamphios has kind of stumbled. Are these, do I know these? I assume we've been traveling together.
Only for a day. Like, you know of them. They're like passing acquaintances. You've seen them around the camp and everything, and you've like done the sup nod a couple of times, but you're not like best friends.
Okay. Well then I'm gonna just quickly pat them on the shoulder and then go run up to see if I can help Pamphios with the fact that we're now careening off in the wrong direction.
Welcome to my window.
You, I think you failed your...
I also failed.
Yeah.
We
but that's
careened.
okay. Guys, I'm just lucky that didn't hit me in the head. All right, Katia, you were our best contestant in this contest of blood and valor. So you succeed extravagantly. Can you tell me what that looks like?
So after I've looked over and not seen anywhere in particular that we could try to steer toward, because it's just like water, and more water, other than the rocks that we've seen, I do like this amazing run down to the deck and try to help steer away from these rocks.
Okay.
Because, we've scraped them. We don't want them to. We don't want to actually sink in the middle of nowhere.
Sure, that would be bad.
So whatever paddle or steering that I can grab on, because I'm not sure, is it oars or is it just like the stick?
So Greco-Roman ships are, it has a mast with a mainsail that you guys were up a little bit, glancing off into the horizon. But it has rows of oars along the body of the ship simply for propulsion, and there are 2 really large oars in the back of the ship for steering.
Okay, so I'm going to try to get on one of those big oars and steer us away from the rocks.
Okay. All right. So, as Katia makes her way to the steering oar, she gives it one strong tug, steadying the ship. So it stops rocking and it slows a little bit so that, yes, there are still rocks passing by coming out of the mist, but you're not moving as quickly, so they're a little bit easier to negotiate. Pamphlios, you've been flung across the deck at this point. You're covered in salt water. You're just kind of, man. Hero, the 2 gentlemen that you just hauled from almost certain doom come over just vigorously, like clapping you on the shoulder and say, "Thank you, Hero. Thank you so much. We never saw that coming. We owe you a great life debt. If you ever need anything, just please don't hesitate to ask."
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll keep that in mind. But trust me, it was nothing.
You may add 1 bond of a gentleman named Diomedes to your sheet. This bond can only be expended on the ship, but you do have it.
On ship.
Taking a glance around the deck, you don't see Agador right away. He was thrown to the starboard side of the ship when you hit the first set of rocks. And now, upon closer inspection, Hero, you're probably closest at this point. You can see that he actually, the stone that had been the altar, he had cracked his skull on it.
Okay.
And bled to death, essentially, while you were righting the wrongs.
Okay. So he's okay. He dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He's on his way to. He's with Styx now. He's on his way to the Styx.
Yeah.
That is not a good omen to crack your head on a sacrificial stone.
No, I was gonna say, who was the? Who did he pray to?
He was praying to Poseidon.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about Poseidon, he's twisted enough that he probably thought that was part of the sacrifice.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be a good thing.
Yeah, he's down. He's down. So now you have no leader. Katia, you're still holding on to the steering oars in the back of the ship, and everyone saw how well you performed. In a time of true peril for the crew who had already dealt with so much war. They're all looking very expectantly at you to see what happens next.
Oh boy. So what'll happen if I let go of this oar, first off?
You'll continue to drift forward. You won't wreck, we'll put it that way. You're just going to kind of bob in the water for a while. And you get the sense, because the rocks that you'd been seeing are becoming more frequent, even though there's a thick fog, you get the sense that maybe you're approaching a shoreline.
Okay. Can we drop anchor?
Yes. Yeah, you can. You start to hear just a little bit of a scraping noise from the bottom of the ship where you're starting to come up on the sand. And there are a couple bags of stones that you can toss off the side of the ship to lay anchor if you'd like.
Well, if I think we're approaching land, I'll call out and see if anyone can come take this over and kind of steer us toward, or look for somewhere to like pull up the ship, which sounds weird. I almost said park the ship.
Park the ship. Just put it in neutral. Do either of you answer her call, or do you wait for another crew member to do it?
Oh, sure. I'll go ahead.
Yeah, you said there was two oars, steering
there's
oars?
one on either side.
Well, since I just tumbled across there, I'll grab the one that's closest to me.
With
I'll
dignity,
grab it with
right?
one arm.
You're like,
oh yeah, definitely. I'll look around to see if anybody noticed. No. And I'll tuck my lyre back in its case as I'm grabbing the oar on the side of the ship closest to me.
Okay. Katia, you have two burly soldiers now handling the steering for you.
All right, so I asked them to get us toward land or at least away from the rocks. And is everyone still staring at me expectantly?
Sort of. I mean, you were the only person who really sprang into action and seemed to know what to do, and now these people have no leader.
I'm gonna stroll up to Katia, just kind of leaning. Katia, dear, I think, given the fact by the right of having touched the oar last after the captain died, that you are now the new captain.
I'm sorry, what?
Is that how
I mean,
works?
that's just
Laws
how things work.
I just want to go home.
And we are trusting you with our lives to get us there as well.
Hear, hear.
The ship pulls up, and you can hear now a consistent sort of scrape as you come to a stop. And the mist clears just slightly. It's still there, but you can see about 20, 30 feet in front of you now.
Okay.
You see a black sand shoreline and basalt cliffs that seem to rise up to the sky in every direction. It comes to a little semicircular cove, which is where you all landed.
All right.
Are you walking to the front of the ship, back where the altar had originally been?
Sure. So Katia's she's like plotting in her head like how to deal with this because she hadn't planned on being the captain. So she actually waves to Hero and
Pantsleos.
I didn't want to screw it up. Pantsleos. Come with me. I could use a right and a left hand in dealing with this, since we kind of didn't expect this to happen. And I go up to the altar, and then I look around to see, like, has anyone thrown a plank down? Has anyone thrown a ladder down?
There's a little bit of netting that you all had previously been using to sort of climb in and out of the boat itself. A lot of your normal provisions got destroyed in the war, so you're sort of like limping home with what you have on hand.
Well, Captain, I admit that I doubted you at first, but you have done in about 30 seconds what the other captain couldn't do in weeks at sea. So, well, thank you. I'm going to see if I can...
Pretty sure we weren't supposed to wind up here.
Oh, well, that's... But we need provisions, and I see the wisdom in your decision of stopping here first. So this is all still fine.
Sure.
There's definitely not supposed to be an island here. I definitely looked at the charts just last night with the captain. There's not supposed to be an island here.
What should be here? Just still more open water then?
That's correct, yes. We weren't supposed to see land for at least a fortnight.
Well, after our incident and the sacrifice by our dear deceased Captain Agenor, I think that Poseidon has decided to grace us with a little bit of a break. So it looks like perhaps his sacrifice was not in vain.
Well, first, before we do anything, we should see the captain off with proper rights and send him to Poseidon.
I heartily agree, and perhaps perhaps checking the ship and giving a offering to Hephaestus for keeping the ship together as well.
Yes, I can trust you with that,
Pamphilios.
Pamphilios. Can I just
Aye.
call you Philos?
Certainly.
That means brother. That's so cute. Sorry. So Pamphilios, you know what you're doing when it comes to Hephaestus. You actually go back to where the altar had been, and you don't maybe use the rock that's covered in blood, but that area you use the 2 little vats of oil and relit them and begin to make your offering. Katia, how do you propose the body of the captain be handled? And do you ask for help with this?
I do. I ask Hero and a couple crew members for help. Hero, can you go into his quarters and find anything that looks like he would have worn it on land or for official business, and we can at least drape him in that?
I will see what I can find. Yes.
And I don't want to send a boat off to be sunk, but we should find something to wrap him in. And if anyone here is enamored or knows Poseidon well to give him last rites, we should do that before we commend him to the sea.
A young man walks up. Ion, I think I can help. I've been watching the captain every morning, and I think I can do the offering the way that he does it.
All right, well, if you could take care of cleaning off the altar so it is not tainted with blood, even though it is our former captain's blood. And once we get him wrapped and anointed, we can send him on his way.
Oh, yes. And you can see that Ion is sort of averting eye contact with you, but every once in a while when you two do connect gazes, like, he's 13 years old. He's heard stories of Katia the warrior and the amazing things that she's done, and his face lights up whenever you two actually connect gazes, and he blushes just a little bit, and he sort of scurries off to do your bidding. He sets about finding a couple of coins to put on the captain's eyes and searching the hold for a sheet that's big enough to be used for a funeral rite. He brings that back, and Hero, I'm guessing you're helping him get all of this prepared.
Yep.
So with a little bit of direction from him and muscle from you, perhaps, the two of you get him all bound up and ready to be sent off. And he sort of gets the body prepared to be lowered into the sea. Maybe not when you guys are right on shore, but when you set sail again and leave. Because otherwise that's just really gross and there's a body rotting in the bay. But he is prepared for his journey to the afterlife at this point. And Pamphilios, you've, at this point, the altar is set. How do you make your offering to Hephaestus? What kind of prayer do you say? Your mic's not picking you up.
We've got the 2 things of oil, and I'll actually get a couple nails from the stores below that were used to make the ship, and I'll make a small little fire, and I'll set the nails in it and pour some oil so it burns really, really hot right there on the stone there, and offer up the prayers as the small fire burns.
Okay. And you having a more personal connection to Hephaestus, you ask him to bless the ship and make sure that it doesn't sink, kill you all, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and thank him for allowing guiding the craftsman's hands that built the ship in the first place, that allowed it to survive and impact with the rocks.
That's good. So now the captain has been taken care of. There's no immediate danger on deck, and you all are ashore on this black sand beach. What would you like to do?
I would probably, if they'd listen to me, try to assign some people to go scout for food or see what we can find on this island that should not be here.
Okay. Several of the crewmates offer to fish. They show you leaning over the side of the boat that the bay that you all are in has tons of fish in it. They're already actually preparing their nets and their shellfish traps to go into the deck or to go into the bay rather and catch some dinner.
All right. Go forth and get us food. Some fresh fish will make a difference.
What time of day is it right now?
It's midday-ish. It was just dawn when you all started dealing with the rock, so the sun is up now.
Okay. And ahead of me, the beach, black sand. Does it look? Is there trees or like what is it like? Is it
a black sand beach that extends
okay.
perhaps 300 yards,
Okay.
and then it just automatically basalt jagged cliff face is what's beyond that. You do see, however, that standing perhaps 150 yards from the ship are two small boys, one a little bit larger than the other, but both well below fighting age. They stand there, mouths open, eyes wide, just staring at the ship. And there's a goat on a little tether between them. And they're just looking at the ship, completely confounded.
Ah, hello, lads. Do you mind telling us where we are?
The smaller of the two boys, are you off the ship or are you on the shore now?
Oh, I was going to hop down and just walk.
Okay.
Walking toward them, yeah.
Yeah, we're all on shore at this point, I think.
Okay. If you approach the boys, the littler one is going to kind of turn and look at the taller boy and then look back at you and he goes, "You guys aren't strangers, are you?"
No. No. Very much not. We're the least strange kind of people. Heroes, really.
Okay.
You might have heard of some of us. Are you expecting strangers?
Well, no, my big brother Cosma says that we're not supposed to talk to strangers when we're out. So if you were strangers, I wasn't going to talk to you. But
that is very wise.
Cosmos, he says they're not strangers. It's okay, right? And the older brother, who you can now see is very skeptical, is just sort of standing there glaring at you, hero. But he doesn't say anything. And the littler one walks up. He goes, "I'm Boris."
Well, that's a very strong name there, and I believe he said it, but what was your name again? As I kind of pointed the older brother there.
That's Cosmos.
No, what, I want to hear, what was, excuse me, sir.
Cosmos, tell him. And he kind of like nudges him a little bit. And Cosmos is just glaring, and he kind of takes a step backwards and gives a little tug on the goat.
I'm gonna I'm gonna pat, see if I've got any little tiny knives, and I'm gonna try and hand him one as a small gift.
Okay, Katia, what would you like to do with these two young boys who are just sort of on the beach by themselves?
I'm gonna ask the younger one about the goat, actually.
Okay, what would you like to ask Boris about the goat?
So your brother doesn't want to talk to us. What's the goat's name?
Oh, this is Oxy. We don't have any cows anymore. But Oxy is a good companion, and sometimes she lets us ride her. So when Cosmas and I go to play, because Mom's always really busy and she always says, "Go outside and play, you're bothering me." So when we go outside and play, we bring Oxy with us, because then I get to pretend to be a warrior in battle, but Oxy doesn't want me to ride her today.
All right. So
Are you a warrior? He
yes,
says,
I'm a
kind of
warrior.
like looking at your swords.
Yes, I'm a warrior.
You guys have all been in battle, haven't you? And he kind of walks up to you, Pamphlios. What happened to your eye?
I'll go down on one knee to get more on his level, and I'll say, I gave it as an offering to the gods, as we all should strive to honor the gods in any way that we can.
I think I'll probably keep both of my eyes. And then he comes back to you, Hero. Are you still offering him a small knife?
I was offering it to the
older
brother.
boy? Okay.
I don't mean to. I mean, I'm not your dad or anything, but you should be proud of your name, and if somebody asks for it, well, you should give it. And I try, and any young boy your age should be happy to have an extra knife around. It's a valuable tool; it can save your life. As I try to hand it over to him, knowing full well he may have no idea how to really use a knife or anything, but hoping he takes it as a peace offering.
Cosmos will take a very tentative step forward. He's still glaring at you. He'll take the knife from your hand very slowly and just kind of say, Boris might be friendlier than I am, but I know what guys like you do when they come to islands.
Well, that's really convenient because I don't know what to do as I kind of glance back at everybody else. So maybe if you clue me in, it would save us a whole lot of time.
Well, there's already so much bad stuff happening here. Can't you guys just leave?
Bad stuff?
Bad stuff.
Boris, having heard the mention of that, is kind of going to turn to his brother and go, we're not supposed to talk about it. If we talk about it, then it just gets worse. You know that.
I'm going to kind of nudge Pamphlios. Pamphlios, they have bad stuff going on. If only somebody were here who could help.
Well, young children, you are in luck, for we have great warriors. I'm gonna pull my lyre out and start to sing them a song about Hero's exploits and Katia's exploits.
This sounds like a contest of arts and duration to me. which, as I recall, is Pamphlios' specialty.
My thing.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and roll for the boys. Hero and Katia, you guys can decide amongst yourselves if you want to participate in this particular challenge or if you just want to let Pamphlios handle this one.
So what I'm hearing is there's an opportunity for Katia and I to, in a montage style, demonstrate our skills backing up the song that is being played.
Yes.
Because that...
You read between the lines of my DM scheme.
That is what I would like to do.
Okay.
As he begins playing his lyre and singing, I'm going to try and make some show. Is there anything kind of small or that would be impressive to shoot?
Hold, please.
Yes, ma'am.
The number to beat, Pamphlios, is an 11. So you don't have to roll too high.
Well, I only rolled a 7 last time, so.
What is your epithet?
The honey-tongued. So I feel
I
like
believe that applies in this case.
Okay, so I got my name dice, my domain dice. So if I recall, there's an opportunity for individuals to basically abstain and support.
Which is what's happening here. So
do I get extra dice for that?
Well, hold on. We know Hero is helping you out. Katia, are you going to assist in this charade? It's just a simple yes or no right now. We'll talk about how in a minute.
Yes.
Okay. That means that you get to, Pamphlios, add an additional 2d6 to your dice pool. Because you get a copy of Hero's name dice and you get a copy of Katia's name dice.
Okay. Hot diggity. 8 plus 6.
Hey, look at you.
14. I critted.
All right. Pamphlios, tell me how you're going to try and lower the guard of these two young lads who are just very skeptical of why you're here and what you're doing here, and then Hero and Katia be thinking about how you're going to contribute to this performance as he's describing it. Pamphlios, go ahead.
So I'm gonna pull out my lyre. I've got a little case that I carry it in so it doesn't get wrecked up, and I'm gonna actually sit down so that I'm really close eye level with them, and I'm gonna say, bad stuff. Let me tell you, you don't worry about bad stuff anymore. For with us are the two great heroes of the Trojan War, Katia, and then I'll strum a certain chord that describes Katia. It's got a little bit of an iron ring behind it, a little bit more bass to it, and then I'll Hero, and I'll play on the higher end of the lyre and give it a little more liveness, kind of like a little bit of a dancing sword motif. And I'll go on to describe, I'll look to, which one was the older one? The one that wanted to be a hero.
The one that wanted to be hero is the younger one. That's Boros.
Okay. So I'll look to him, and I'll describe some great deeds of Katia's swordsmanship on during a great battle, where she slew 50 men by herself, and a dancing whirlwind dervish of swords and blood and sweat and tears. And then I'll change the key back over, and I'll talk to the older one about how Hero, he actually, I'll bring up a recent mention, and I'll start to pin a song that hasn't been heard before, as he daringly dives off of the crow's nest of the ship and swings around and rescues 15 men from being splashed overboard this very morning, and brought them safely to rest so that they could continue on their lives.
Okay. Katia, Pamphlios is singing an incredible epic of your greatness right now. How are you assisting him?
I am kind of pantomiming those moves as he sings.
So you're fake slaughtering 50 men in a whirling dervish of swords behind him, like, well, he's...
Sure.
Okay, I love it. Hero, what about you?
Yeah, I would just... assuming this is just the three of us on the beach?
Yes.
Okay. Then in that instance, I would probably like to take, just like as the song's going, just see if I can grab like an apple or something from my backpack and just throw it way far, and then kind of without looking, like shoot an arrow at it and kind of through the apple.
Okay. Pamphlios, are you continuing with your song, or are you tying it with a nice knot and sort of flourishing?
Okay. I'll wrap it up there after I describe both of them.
As soon as you finish this song, Boros just erupts in furious applause, and he's so excited. And he's Katia, as you're as you're feigning these swordsmanship moves, he's doing the same thing with two sticks that he just picked up off of the beach, and he's trying to follow your every move. And Hero, to your surprise, Cosmas, watching you shoot this arrow at, we'll say, an apple, a fig, whatever was nearby,
sure.
After you threw it up in the air, he can't hide how excited he was to actually see that. And you can tell it's been a long time since this kid has had genuine joy, but you're seeing it right now. And
okay.
he actually kind of drops the lead on the goat, and he's just sort of watching you, and he finds himself sort of clapping along with his brother. But before he can say anything, Boris interrupts, and he goes, "You guys are really really cool warriors, and there's been a lot of bad stuff happening here, and Mom says we shouldn't talk about it because it'll just make it worse, but everyone's sick, and everyone seems scared, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better no matter what we give to Apollo, and he's like, tears are welling up in his eyes right now as he's talking to you, and he's not making much sense, but he's obviously distraught.
Well, Pamphlus, I believe you may have a bit of a wiser take on something like sickness. Who could we beseech to, or what do we need to kill if it was my preference to bring peace to these poor children in their village?
Well, I believe that our best course of action, if and he'll kind of give a bow and a head nod to Katia, would be to check out the village and assess this illness for ourselves. For depending on the source of the illness and the symptoms it's presenting itself, it determines which of our mighty gods we should pray to.
Oh, well, Mom will be able to tell you all about the sickness. It's been happening since before I was born, but it's gotten really bad lately. There's a lot of it now. It didn't used to be this bad, but Mom can tell you all about it. Mom's really smart.
Well, child, would you lead us to your village and allow us to help you out with this? As you can see, we are far from strangers.
Boros will kind of like excitedly walk up to you, and is your lyre still out?
Yep.
Okay. He's gonna like reach forward to kind of pluck a string on it and look back at his brother. And Cosmas is gonna kind of eye all three of you in turn. Okay. Come on, but if I'm in trouble for this, Boros, it's your fault. And he just kind of turns tail and starts walking along the black sand beach.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
So you all follow Boros and Cosmas along with their goat up a winding path that the terrain of this island is extraordinarily rocky. There's not a lot of grass or a lot of greenery or anything like that. It's mostly rock and sand. As you sort of climb this little hillside of winding basalt cliffs, you come to the crest of a hill where you look down onto a small village. It's not huge. It's about as big as your camp was before you left the battleground. Built on sand with lots of wooden log supports. It looks as though the settlement's been there for quite some time. It's large enough that you can actually see the layout of the city from where you're at. So there's a central well, several buildings that look to be apartments scattered off to the sides, and it all sort of centralizes on one larger semicircular building. The boys don't really give you time to linger as you're standing there, but you can tell even on a quick glance that something's wrong. Normally this time of day, the streets would be busy with some kind of activity, but there's nothing really happening right now. And as you go down and actually enter the city, you see that the people that you do see they're just sort of broken. They're obviously exhausted. Most are sick. They're coughing. There's very little activity. No music, no laughter, no nothing. And as you walk through the streets, the boys lead you to that big semicircular building. And they stop you just before you go in a side entrance there. Let me see. Mom works for the queen, and she works really hard because the queen's not feeling really well right now. So she'll probably be really busy when we go in, but she'll be able to tell you everything you want. And Boros just kind of ducks inside and sort of slams open a doorway there. And his brother trails behind him, but you can hear him yelling, "Mom!" as he runs inside.
On our way in, did we notice anything else weird? Like, is there like shriveled, gross plants everywhere, or anything like that?
You noticed, because you passed by the central well of the city to get to where you're at, you've been a lot of places. You've never smelled an acrid scent like that from a central water reservoir.
Is there... So we didn't get a chance to stop anywhere along the way, correct? We just noticed this?
The boys just kind of drug you through town.
Okay.
But you could smell it from a good 20, 30 feet away.
Okay. So whenever we're done talking to their mom, I want to go investigate that.
Okay. After a few moments of Boros and Cosmos running into the house, and they actually took the goat with them, which you thought was kind of odd at the time, but then you realized that this goat is probably more of a pet than livestock. A woman appears in the doorway, and she looks just kind of shocked. Who are you? What are you doing here?
Madam, we are great heroes, and we're here to, we hear there is a problem. Your boys, very, very nice, kind boys, have told us that there seems to be an issue, and we would love to offer our services in exchange for some small provisions to help us get on our way and find our way home.
I don't know what my boys told you. We'll handle ourselves here.
Play the song, Pamphleos.
There's
Play me a
room
tune.
in here. There's no room in here for us to do the same thing.
Yes, I guess not.
How did you all get to Namphos? We haven't seen visitors in years.
Captain?
I give Hero kind of look like... Our ship came ashore. We are trying to figure out we were just trying to figure out where we are when we spotted your boys, and they looked really surprised to see a ship.
They would be. We thought we were all alone out here. I'm sorry, did you all say you were heroes?
Well, specifically he is hero, but yes, we've been known to accomplish a few things.
So you go around and save people, right?
Sometimes.
You'd better come inside. And she'll sort of step back and gesture into the room.
Alright.
Didn't even have to play the song.
The song has a lot of power. Sometimes they might have just known.
It was residual. It was carried out. The boys had it on. Yeah.
Do you follow her inside?
Sweet
Yeah.
daddy.
Okay. You walk into what is obviously a small pantry area, and the young woman, who quickly introduces herself as Zecia, starts sort of shuffling around and trying to find drag racing outside, man. Shuffling around, and she finds 3 sort of mug-looking things made of ram's horn, and puts them down. And you notice that normally you would be offered water or wine, but she pours sort of a thick yellow liquid into the cups for you. It's honey and juice. Don't worry about it. We don't have a lot of water to spare. That's one of the problems that we're sort of dealing with right now.
What happened to your water?
Well, everything was fine. But a few months back, the water supply, it seemed like it was going bad, and people started getting sick. And at first we thought it must be something else, But, well, I mean, you all saw the well. We've been praying to Apollo to try and get it fixed, but we don't think any of our offerings are getting to him.
Are you putting offerings in the well?
Well, not in the well. We have an altar specifically for him. There's been a lot of illness when you're on an island and just sort of trapped. There's a lot of elderly folks here. They get sick often, and we rely on him quite a bit. There's an altar to him on one of the easterly cliffs. We just haven't been able to go there lately.
Why not?
Personally, I don't believe it, but if you ask the queen, she'll tell you. She says there's a beast that's been stealing the offerings and guarding the altar. It seems that something has claimed that cliff as its home, and she forbade any of us from going up there after several men were killed in an attack.
Just a point of clarification, were they attacking it, or did it attack them?
Well, they were going to make offerings. But we don't go with the expectation of slaughter. We're not warriors, so it's not. We're fishermen mostly. I'm sorry. This is so rude of me. Please, come with me. Meet the queen. She'll be able to explain it way better than I could.
The bodies of the men that were slain trying to make offerings, where are they?
Well, most of them have been burned on pyres. There was one gentleman who escaped with his life. He lives in the woods now. He's afraid. But really, come with me. The queen will be able to explain everything. She knows far more about this kind of, I don't know, war than I do. And she just sort of walks out of the room, expecting for you all to follow her down a narrow hallway.
Gentlemen, shall we?
Captain. Wait for Captain.
Are there any sigils to gods on the way in at the door, or any markings like that in the pantry?
Nothing that you can see right now.
Okay. Then yeah, follow them on in.
So Zecia leads you down a hallway and then to a larger room off to the far side of the house, so farthest from the entrance to the village where you first came in. And it's a larger room with a plush mat where you see the figure of a young man. He looks like he's sleeping on the bed, and knelt by his side is a woman wearing a tunic of some finery. It has beautiful gold embellishments. She has a very simple crown atop her head. Holding the hand of this young man, she looks like she's probably his mother.
How does she look? Is she like
She looks to be in good health, but
okay.
Exhausted would be sort of drained.
Gotcha.
And you see Zecia is kind of knelt to her side and whispers something in her ear, and still holding the hand of the young man, she sort of looks at Zecia and then glances at you all in the doorway and nods just very slightly, and then goes back to looking at the young man again. And handy dandy name generator. The Zecia, who led you in there, this is the queen. This is Indra. And and her son. You can see he was one of the first to fall ill. I'll leave you all to it to figure out. Thank you for coming to save us. I should go find the boys. And she just sort of leaves the room. Pamphlios. Now looking around, you do see a small makeshift altar on one side of the room. However, it doesn't look like it's one that was there very long. And now I have to find my notes for what god those are for. It's got two different sides, and one of them is set up, you see the sigil of Asclepius, and then the other half is Hygeia. And you know, actually, you know what, maybe you don't. Who has a connection to Apollo? Does anyone have any kind of divine favor with Apollo?
Nope, and I realize I should have because he's all about the stringed instruments, but negative.
I do have one with Apollo for knowledge.
Actually, this totally fits for you, Katia. So, you are a warrior at heart. And one of the things that a warrior learns very, very quickly is how to treat wounds. You know that Hygeia is the goddess that you pray to when it comes to certain different kinds of healing, things like cuts, stuff like that, for cleanliness and tidiness, avoiding infection, that sort of thing. And you know that Asclepius is a minor god of medicine. So Apollo kind of oversees the whole health and wellness section of the god department, but Asclepius is more applicable healing, we'll put it that way, specifically medicine. So you, looking at this altar, you recognize that this is a makeshift altar where the queen has been trying to help her son.
If I try to approach, will she be upset? Because I want to see if the boy looks actually hurt.
Excuse me. You take a few steps towards the mat where the young man is laid out. He doesn't look hurt, per se. Okay. But you can see that he's very pale. His eyes are sunken. He looks ill.
If I get close enough, can I tell if he has any kind of fever or if there's any sick smell about him?
Well, the whole room sort of smells like a sick room. If you want to see if he has a fever, you're probably going to have to get close enough to, like, touch his forehead or his wrist and see. Would you like to try and do that?
I would, but I would like to greet the queen first and ask permission.
Okay. Hero, what would you be doing?
I don't know that Hero would be super comfortable with being close to a sick person, so I think he'll try. He'll try and look like he's fine, but he's going to clearly be standing back a
uncomfortable
solid few feet. Yeah. He's a little interested in the queen, though, so he's kind of like at an angle to where he can kind of, see her.
Okay. All right. Pamphlios.
Well, seeing where Katia's trying to angle in for a closer look, actually they're both going to the same point with different destinations in mind. I'll bellow out in my greatest court voice and introduce ourselves and humbly beg the audience of the queen.
What?
Well,
can you give me a demonstration, just sort of what this sounds like in this sick room?
Yes. What was her name again?
It was Zendra.
And the person we were speaking to before told us the name, correct? So yes. I'm not just coming to this blind. Cool. Only half blind.
You're fired.
All right, I'll see you guys later. The honored Queen Zendra, please allow me to introduce myself and my companions. We are recently separated from the war in Troya, and we have stumbled upon your island and wish to offer our services to you. May I present, it's Iron-Hearted Katia, correct?
Yes.
The Iron-Hearted Katia and... What's your epitaph? Mason?
Oh, yeah, nimble-handed.
And nimble-handed hero. And myself, the modest and silver-tongued Pamphlios. We are at your disposal, mighty queen.
This is unexpected and highly inappropriate. My son is ill. How dare you come into my house and insist that you're heroes, that you're going to save us?
Well, to be fair, we were led in here by her, so I don't know that it's entirely our fault.
Who among you would dare to think you can help? This is going to be
I would so dare.
This is an arts and oration challenge.
Oh boy.
For those interested in participating. I keep rolling ones though, so y'all are lucky. That's gonna be a 14. Who among you will face this challenge?
I will face it, although I only get to roll 3d6, so let's see what happens.
I would argue that you're... Let's see. You get a d6 for arts and oration, a d6 for your name, and you know what? I think your epitaph might actually give you an advantage die here. Roll an extra d6 for me.
So 3 or 4?
You're gonna roll 4.
I already rolled 3, so I'm gonna roll 1 more.
Okay, and then take the 2 highest.
Hero is going to sit this one out.
I'm going to re-roll that because they all moved when I picked up my dice tray.
Okay.
Still not great. It's only a 9.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in that, but I would like to. I'm just looking up. How do we cash in the? What does our divine favor do for us?
Oh yeah.
It will allow you to roll your dice pool like you normally would, and then once you have that number, you're gonna roll a d4 and just add it on at the end.
Okay. I would like to.
When do we get those back? Do we know?
I'll have to check it. I believe it's something that's you get it back by earning favor with the gods.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on to it. I'm still standing back and doing nothing.
Your pathos, yeah, you can spend your pathos too. Meeps and Peeps over in chat is another individual who's playing through this right now, so they'll tell me when I'm wrong. But you can expend pathos to go ahead and do an extra dice as well.
That would just be
and you get pathos back.
D6, correct?
Yes. You get your pathos back. It's like a long rest. When you go back to the ship and continue your voyage, you get your pathos back.
I don't actually have anything in those little dots there.
That's because you cross them out as you use them.
Oh, that's right. And that's right. It's a negative thing.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna not help because I feel like I think Pamphlios has this.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my divine favor with Athena. Hoping for a little more foresight, discernment, and prudence, as well as wisdom in this situation. So I think I get my epitaph dice, my name dice, and my D8 for arts and oration. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards I get to throw an extra D4 on there?
Correct.
Okay. Are you supporting Hero?
I mean, because I still have to succeed at a roll for arts, or is there...
Well,
I'm still rolling against...
If you support him,
yeah,
what you're doing is you're cashing in a bond there, and then he gets a copy of your name dice, so he would get another d6 to add to his pool.
He wants to call on me for that because I can that
you would have to make the choice.
Me?
Yeah.
I thought he made the choice on whether.
To use my bond, I would have to, but if he just sits out and supports, is that a...
You know what? Let's go to the book on this one.
There is a spot on the sheet. A player may choose to not roll in a contest and instead provide support. They pass their domain die to the hero player.
Oh, the domain die. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
And the supporting hero earns 1 bond, and they support +1 glory.
Yep.
So you actually get a bond with me, and actually both of you all would have gotten a bond for the beach situation. Then.
We'll go back and retcon all the stuff that you should have by now.
Okay. Cool.
At the end.
All right, giving it a go.
Then yes, I mean, I guess I can help then. So I need to roll. I don't think don't think I can do great. In fact, no, I can't. I couldn't succeed on this roll because
it's higher than you guys are used to right now.
Yeah, I couldn't succeed if I wanted, because I would have to. If I only take the top 2 dice, the most I could get is 12.
Yeah, but you can always add a divine favor or a pathos,
which I'm gonna save. Sorry, Pamphleos. I'm gonna hold off.
No.
Wow.
Well, you actually don't roll to do a support, and you just earn a bond. It's a complete. You get something.
Well, so I would argue that because he is supporting you, he gets to contribute to the story in that, right? I think he would roll his domain die for your pool.
Oh, yeah.
Because who doesn't want to roll the dice? I just feel like it's more fun that way.
What do I do?
So you are not arts and oration heavy, so you would roll a d6 and tell Pamphleos what you got on your d6 if you want to support him, and then you add a bond with Pamphleos to your sheet.
It's kind of a free
4.
thing. Beautiful. Because that pushes me to 14.
Okay.
Excellent. It's meets it, beats it for this system too. So.
Because I rolled a 1 on my oration dice there.
Yay! The biggest dice you were rolling.
That was actually clutch.
Okay. So, the queen is getting almost offended that you all are here and invading her house like this. And Katia, you try and calm her down. What would you like to say to the queen?
What would I like to say to the queen?
Yeah, because you had originally rolled for this one. So,
I kind of hold up a hand placatingly. We're here to help you. We're not trying to come in, and we're not full of hubris. I can see that you've been praying for the health of your son. We're trying to help you. We wound up here by accident, and your people need help.
She sort of she looks very confused, but still sort of in a daze. And then she looks to you, Pamphleos. What do you say to the queen?
I will tap my lyre and then hold up my spear and say, we 3 have come from years of war, and we understand not only the gods and how to honor them, such as Apollo, as I touch the lyre, but we also can make war, and I'll gesture to Katia with the favor of Ares, and no beast will stand between us and the platform.
Who told you there was a beast?
We are very keen-eared, and we hear many things. It is all part of the hero gig.
She's gonna look back at her son, and then back at you all. Everyone's getting sick now. At first, it was just the elderly and the very, very young, but my son was going to be king. His father was one of the first to fall ill. And the day we buried him was the day he ended up like this.
Mm-hmm.
If you must know, we haven't been able to make our offerings to Apollo. There's some beast, something that seems to have claimed his altar as their own. It's not safe for us to go. Apollo has turned his back on us, and for that my people suffer. No one's getting better. We don't have clean water. I don't know what to do.
Allow us to help you, Your Majesty.
What do you need?
Information and directions is all we really need, and we shall take care of it ourselves.
Not so fast. We may need to find out where the source of the well is, and a way up to where your altar is.
Oh, I can direct you to the altar easily enough, but you'll want to speak to Imbrius first.
I'm sorry, who?
Imbrius, he was a shepherd. He used to take care of the goats and the sheep, and he was the one who actually used to take all the offerings up to Apollo's altar, but...
I see. Is he the fellow that we were told is in the woods somewhere?
Yes, he went to bring last month's offering to the altar, and brought 2 other men with him, and you would be hard-pressed to say he was lucky that he escaped with his life, but he was better off than the 2 he left with. He's the only one who knows anything about this beast. I'm afraid none of us have seen it.
Well, I guess we need to go in the woods. But before we do, with your permission, may I check your son?
You're not going to hurt him, are you?
No, I just merely want to see if he has a fever.
Very well.
And I just move slowly and carefully so she can see me, and put my hand on his forehead.
It's burning up.
So he has a unchecked infection, probably.
There's something going on, but he's very obviously unconscious. And he's got like the cold sweats going on, like he's sweated through his tunic. Doesn't seem to be bothering the queen, but she's again sort of in a daze as she's sitting there.
He has a fever and possibly an infection. Can your healers run a cool bath and keep him cold?
Well, the priest died last week, but I'm sure we can find something. Zecia and I can probably get something cool to bathe him in. Will that help? Will he get better?
Well, maybe it will help his fever. He's exceedingly hot to the touch. He needs to be cooled off and kept cool, and hopefully it will help break his fever. But laying here like this, he's just burning up.
Yes, something cool. And for the first time since you all entered this room, she actually lets go of his hand. And starts sort of shuffling towards the door. And you can see now, upon closer inspection, she's a little unkept herself. She's obviously been wearing the dress she's got on for quite some time. It's worn, it's got stains on it. Her hair's sort of mussed around her crown. And she's sort of in a general state of disarray. And she sort of shuffles out of the room without saying anything else to you guys.
All right. I look at Hero and Wow, I just totally blanked out. I'm so sorry. Uh, Panthleos, this boy needs to be kept cool, and he has some kind of infection. I think it's from the water. I've seen this with soldiers in the war. We've all seen this.
Certainly. And if we can get to the altar and offer thanks and praise to Apollo, surely he will send aid.
More like they need clean water.
Maybe that aid will manifest as clean water.
But perhaps we also could just, I mean, the well's just right there. Perhaps we could just take a quick peek.
You could smell the well walking by. It's clearly unfit for drinking.
Of course, but I mean, maybe there's something rotting down there. Maybe there's something growing. I mean, unless we take a closer look, we'll never know for sure.
It is true. We did have a case of this, a well that just had an oxen wander into it. So maybe it's as simple as that.
Or a body is, or someone fell in the well and that's what's poisoning the water and they never knew.
This is a fine idea, Hero.
Well, I'll be happy to make my way down and take a look.
As you all are standing there discussing this, Hero, you see Boros kind of poke his head around the corner and just look into the room at you guys.
Well, hello there, little one. Oh wait, Hero said. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna stare at him for a second. Does he notice that that I've looked at him yet, or is he just?
He's he's locking eyes with you.
Boros, would you like to come into the room? It's a bit awkward. He's standing there only part of the way in. So.
Oh no, mom says I'm not allowed to go in there.
Ah, always mind your mother. Did you have something to say?
Well, the queen left. She hasn't left this room in days.
Well, as I kind of waved to the three of us. Heroes.
No, that's your name.
Yes. I see the confusion. In any case, I think we have some investigative work to do. Did you see the direction the queen went in? Because I think she was getting something for us, information perhaps.
She just went to go find my mom, and he sort of looks down at his hands and sort of plays with them while he's talking. But I was out here, and it sounds like you guys are going to go talk to Imbrius.
Probably, yes. If you're going to eavesdrop, you shouldn't get caught, by the way. Bad form.
I'll do better. I'll do better.
See to it. Why? Do you have some information about him?
Well, Imbrius used to be my friend, and now that he lives in the woods, I never get to see him. But it's kind of easy to get lost, so I can tell you how to get there if you need it.
Well, Captain, I will defer to you on whether we need directions.
Yes, that's fine. Just we need to be mindful so we don't get this young one hurt as well.
Of course. Well then, sure. If you do, can you perhaps? Are there any landmarks? Is it easy to make our way through? Anything we should be mindful of? Pitfalls? Nasty little bitey creatures.
We should get out of here. You guys don't want to get sick. You don't want to stay in that room. And as he begins to lead you all out of the house, much the same direction that you entered it, that is a good spot for us to take a bio break and give everybody a second. Okay. So I'm going to put up the be right back screen. We will be right back here in a second. Hey guys, we're back. See, look how well I did. Mason, say something. Don't do that. Don't pretend like you're muted right now when you're not. I did so good this time, you guys. I pressed all the right buttons. Everyone got unmuted. There's nothing left to fall behind me, so...
Don't say that. Don't jinx yourself.
Oh God, my blinds might fall out of the window. Well, I think we might end the stream early if that
like
were
Buster
the case.
Keaton, the window just falls around her.
The Kool-Aid guy just...
Yeah.
Not again.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, before we dive back into it, thank you guys. There's too many follows for me to name at one time. But thank you, Meeps and Peeps, for the sub. Thank you, Luthera, for the gift subs. We really appreciate all of that stuff. We're constantly trying to get those going, but mainly because we want to give out t-shirts, because Justice and I have been screen printing like crazy, and we're getting really good at it. In fact, hey Mason, you wanna show off your t-shirt? Wow, look at that Bard and Barbarian goodness, cool. But yeah, seriously, we appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us, and thank you so much. We hope you're enjoying yourselves, because I think I'm having fun playing. I hope you guys are too. Otherwise, you don't have to come back next week, I guess. Make up an excuse. So.
Oh, thank God.
Fine, except you, Mason. You have to come back.
Oh, shit.
Ha! So, when we left our heroes, Boros was leading you all out of the house and back towards the main thoroughfare in town. And he's maybe 10 paces ahead of you, and he keeps looking over his shoulder to make sure that you're following him. You get the sense that he really just didn't want to leave you in a room with a sick person, because he had never been allowed to stay in that room alone. So it must be something bad.
No, I completely understand and don't want to be anywhere near the sick, so this works out for me.
So he sort of leads you back outside of the house, and from where you all are standing, you can see the well. And as soon as you set foot outside, Boris just sort of explodes, and he goes, okay, so to get to Imbrius's cabin, you have to go like this. And he sort of points to a path that's been cleared. I say cleared, mainly it's just slightly smaller rocks than all the bigger rocks around it. But it very obviously leads sort of out of town and winds up this little hill to where there are a few sparsely wooded areas. But you're going to follow that path and go into the woods, but it's not very far inside the woods. So if you follow the woods to the point where you hear water rushing, you've gone too far. You need to turn around and come back, because it's kind of hidden, but it's up that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell him I said hi, and that I miss him.
We will do that.
And that Oxy misses him too. Oxy used to be his goat, but then he gave it to us.
All right.
That was very kind of him.
Well, he can't really take care of him anymore. And then he goes back inside.
What was his name again?
Boros?
Sure, we'll go with that. Can I take a peek in the well, just real quick?
Yeah, you brave the stench of the well.
Okay.
And walk over and peer inside. It's got a lot of water in it. It's very full.
As in, like, it... Okay.
It's very full. There's lots of water. But... You can kind of see what looks like a thin layer of almost pond scum on top. That's not what it is, because you've seen pond scum. You've seen stagnant water.
I want to shoot it with an arrow. Just for reasons.
Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm gonna roll for pond scum. Wow, I rolled like shit too.
I just wanted to plop an arrow down in there just to make sure there wasn't like something, but you know.
The number to beat is a 10.
Okay.
You know,
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask. Katia, Pamphlios, would either of you like to assist Hero as he shoots water?
No, I think he's got it on his own.
You know, I am going to sit back and support, and I'm going to begin composing some sort of song about how he defeated this well.
I will only allow you to support him if you can make up a limerick about it on the spot.
A limerick?
Yeah, like a rhyme, like something.
Oh.
Hero, as you're sort of notching your arrow,
Okay.
Pamphilos chimes in from behind you and says,
What's your epitaph again, Hero?
Nimble-handed.
Hero of the nimble hand, please vanquish this threat upon the land. He draws his bow back, great and tight, and shoots an arrow. Oh, what a sight. That water, never saw it coming. That water, just humming.
all right, Hero, go ahead and roll, let's see, that's a copy of
So a D6.
Pamphilos', yes, so you'll get a D6 as a copy of Pamphilos' name die.
Okay.
And then your own name die. I would argue that your epitaph applies here.
Okay. Do I still take just the highest of the 2 die, or do I just add his on top of the highest 2?
You still only take the 2 highest.
Oh, okay. Well, thankfully, I mean, I didn't roll great, but I still got 11.
Okay, you beat the pond scum. Congratulations.
Thanks.
What? Tell me how this happens, because I would describe what the pond scum is doing, but it's literally just sitting there.
I literally lean over and just kind of like squint, fire an arrow, watch it, bloop, and I'm like, just thought I'd check.
Yeah, that's water. That's water with stuff on top, and it smells awful.
I just wanted to see like if it like, you said it's like pond scum, but not. So I didn't know what it would do if I hit it. I was just curious what would happen.
It becomes a gelatinous cube, and this shifts into a D&D campaign.
See, there we go. Now that's what I'm talking about.
No, it's you get the sense that this water is just something seeped into it somewhere along the way. It's not safe to drink.
Gotcha. Well, let's you never know, but let's go. Woods and crazy old people and stuff.
Certainly, yes, that was very brave. I shall create an epic to this. Figure out a way to make it sound cool.
Well, I know that neither of you looked, but it tried to fight back once it realized what was going on, but it's been taken care of.
The water tried to fight back.
Are you questioning
Clearly.
my word?
He vanquished it.
I've just never heard of water fighting back.
Well, I think Poseidon would like to have a word with you.
Hero and Katia, I would like both of you to roll your epitaph name die and your arts and oration die.
Arts and array. Okay.
This is as close as we're gonna get to an opposed roll.
Okay. I'm not gonna do. You're not gonna do. Oh, I did do good. You said. Wait. You said. Oh, wait. Actually, you said epitaph name and.
And arts and oration. So,
so
I think it's
sixes,
3d6 for both of you.
Yeah.
A 9.
I got 12.
Katia, it seems like, yeah, he's being honest. That pond scum, water tried to fight back.
All right, it's weird, but I'll roll with it.
Some minor nymph or something. I don't know, but it's fine.
You've seen stranger things on the battlefield. You don't question it too hard.
Oh, it was a nymph. Ooh. I'll start tuning my lyre as we're walking. I think I can work with this.
Do you all head up the path?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to add slaying water nymph to my great deeds.
No, you're not. What order would you all like to be heading up this path? Because it's very narrow, so you have to go single file, like sand people, to hide your numbers.
I'll defer to the captain.
I'll bring up the back since I've got 2 weapons. You 2 can go first.
All right, I'll probably go ahead of Pamphilos since he's still plucking at his lyre as we walk, I assume.
You're mortal.
Pamphilos, are you kind of like the knights accompanying Sir Robin? Like you're just sort of like plucking out a tune while you walk in the woods?
Simply as something to do as we're walking. I can hold my own. I have 1 deeds and valor with my sword and my spear and shield, but no, I mean, it's fighting is a last resort instead of a first resort.
Okay. So the three of you are heading up this path, and it's very much like Boros told you. It's a steep path. It's kind of rocky terrain, sort of hurting your feet, even though your sandals are nice and thick. And you head into a patch of what you would normally call a wooded area, but again, the greenery is very, very sparse here. So even though there's tree cover, there's just not a lot of it. And you wind through the woods. You're not entirely sure where you're going, but the path is very obvious, so you sort of just stick to that. And about 5 minutes in, Hero, you start to wonder, you're like, he said if we heard running water that we've gone too far. So you take a moment and you pause to listen for running water. And out of nowhere, a man just comes crashing out of the woods and tries to grapple you to the ground. He's got a dagger in his hand. You don't recognize this man. He's tall and he looks pretty strong, but not like warrior strong, like farmhand strong.
I want to nimble hand disarm him immediately then, if I can.
He's got a strip of linen across both eyes.
Okay.
It doesn't look like he can see. This will be a blood and valor roll.
For all of us or just Hero?
For whoever would like to participate.
All right. I will participate because combat.
Alright. I got a 13.
Ooh, I rolled real well.
Got a... Wow, I couldn't math for a second.
Well, so the way that this should typically go is I give you the number to beat before you guys roll. Just so you know. The number to beat in this case is a 14.
But I would have to roll perfect to get a 14.
Unless you want to expend some pathos for some
I'm
divine
going
favor.
I'm going to use one of my
But yes, now everyone who would like to may roll.
I'm going to use one of my Artemis precisions to deflect the blade a little more deftly.
For using a divine favor, what do I add again?
You add a D4 once you've gotten your 2 highest dice from your dice pool. You
Okay.
take that total and you add a D4 on top of it.
Is this system meets it, beats it?
Meets it, beats it.
Then I meets it.
You meets it?
Yes.
All right, let me roll my d4 because I'm calling in divine favor. Oh goodness, that makes me actually beat it. That is a 17 total.
Awesome. Pantheos, what are you doing?
I am actually... Yeah, I don't actually have a way to... Is that metagaming? I don't want to... That's the design of it, right? Like, you know the number to beat, and I know that if I rolled my d6s, I would not have an opportunity to beat it. So I would actually see this coming and take a step out of the way to allow Katia to go through, and I will support her.
Okay.
Since I was fiddling with my lyre instead of having my sword ready, my shield ready.
So, Katia, normally that would mean that you would roll an additional d6 in your dice pool, but we already know that you beat it handily. So, we're not going to do that this time. Pamphleos, you sort of see this figure just come out of nowhere and take a step back, while Hero is sort of being tackled to the ground. Hero, you said you're trying to disarm him, and calling upon your divine favor with Artemis to sort of allow your movements to be a little swifter. Can you tell me what that looks like?
Yeah, I mean, if he's just coming right at me, you described that we notice he's got his eyes covered or is blind. So I'm probably not going to just immediately say anything as he comes at me. I just literally want to kind of see if I can get the arm underneath there with the dagger and try and begin, hey, ho, ho, as I'm trying to hold on to the dagger and keep him from stabbing me. But I don't want to kill him because he could be the guy that we need to talk to.
Okay. He's a little shocked to hear your voice. but he's still fighting you. He's still sort of grappling and trying to get that arm free with the dagger. He's not calm yet. Katia, how would you like to subdue him? Or if you want to attack him, I guess you can too.
I'm not going to attack him, but I am going to like come up behind him and try to kind of like bear hug and subdue him that way.
Okay. And pin his arms to his side?
Yeah.
Okay. Hero, you're sort of struggling on the ground trying to keep this guy's arm under control, and Katia just comes up behind him and she sort of just like heaves him off of you.
Sweet.
Katia, are you going to continue to hold on to him?
Until he calms down or until we see if he needs to be knocked out.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Who are you? What are you doing here? No one comes into the woods. And he's sort of glancing around ravenously. There's no rhyme or reason to the directions he's looking in.
Why would no one come into the woods?
Well, it's not safe here. You'd have to be mad to do it.
But you're here. Oh, never mind. I see your point.
That's very rude.
Did anyone mention that the woods were unsafe, or they?
Who are you? What are you doing here? This is not. He sort of feels.
Your friend Boros. He sent us.
He stops struggling at the mention of Boros' name. What have you done to Boros?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Boros and Oxley send their regards. We're here to help.
Boros is a crafty little boy. You said he
Aye.
sent you.
With the Queen's blessing, yes.
Why would he send you to me? Where did you come from? You obviously aren't from the village.
My man, do you feel the iron bands wrapped around your body right now? That is the great hero Katia, scion of Ares herself. We are here to rescue your island and set you all free. Now, I suggest you stop struggling before she squeezes you like an overripe grape.
Yes, you say you're here to save us? To help us?
Certainly, you feel those muscles.
Well, you're in for a challenge. I'll tell you that. And he just sort of deflates a little bit.
Does he deflate enough to where he would slip out of my grasp? Or is it just kind of like, okay, fine, I give up?
It's kind of okay, fine, I give up. Like, he's not fighting you anymore. He's not even pretending that he could fend you off.
I loosen my grip just enough where I'm probably not gonna like squeeze the air out of him. It's like, all right, so you saw the beast.
I did. Two of my best herdsmen came up with me to the altar. We needed to get something there. Apollo has abandoned us, and people just kept getting sick, but I turned my back for a moment, and this beast came out of nowhere. It was unlike anything I've ever seen.
What did it look like?
He looks as if he's trying to recall a memory, and you see his lower lips start to tremble a little bit. And he sort of tenses up for a second. It was a horrible beast. As big as most ships, with a ferocious roar, and I don't know, it slithered like a snake but had cloven hooves that you could hear just tap, tap, tapping on the stone, and you can see he's lost in this memory now. He's not really with you all anymore. And I called out to my friends, and they were gone. They were gone, and all I saw was fire, and he pulls down the linen to reveal just a blistered, pussy mess where his eyes would be, and then nothing but darkness. It roared I heard them screaming. It must have thought I was dead, or I can't imagine it would have left me alone, but oh God, I heard them die, and he just sort of breaks down into sobs.
Well, I don't keep holding on to him because clearly he's not going to fight, but I kind of let him down gently and tie his linen back around his face.
I don't know what kind of heroes you are, but you're going to need the gods themselves to fight this foe.
Well, we've lucked out so far, and if anything else is true, sometimes we seem to have the luck of fools and the wind at our back.
Hero,
Very well said.
you know what this beast is.
I do.
You do know what this beast is. So, Katia and Pamphlios, you're kind of looking at this puddle of a man, for lack of a better term, as he just sobs into the dirt and tells you all you're basically gonna die. Hero.
I'm gonna just kind of give him a pat on the shoulder. Perhaps, being that it's dangerous out here, you'd be best to return to town and let us go take care of the beast, all right?
He pays you no mind and just continues to sob.
Does he? Can I see? Is there anywhere? Does he actually live around? Does he
Yeah,
have, like, a
he
house?
has a little hut, sort of. It was maybe 30 feet away from you, very very small,
Okay.
hidden in the brush.
Okay. Would it be possible for me just to kind of, keeping his knife from him, scoop him up and just carry him back to his home?
Yes, I will say yes. You can sort of tenderly lift him up so that he's standing on his own 2 feet and just sort of
Sure.
guide him back towards his house.
Because I don't know why it's dangerous, but I feel like him laying on the ground crying probably is unsafe for him. So
I mean, yeah, the whole blindness thing doesn't
yeah, that too.
make it any safer.
So then, as I kind of just lead him into the house and go, well, this will be no problem. In fact, you guys go back to the ship. I'll handle this myself. It's fine.
What are you going to do?
Oh, I'll just go. It's nothing. It's just a small monster. I can understand why these people may have a hard time with it, but it's absolutely fine.
What is it?
Could everyone... We're going to be doing now I have to find it again. I need my domains. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to be doing a craft and reason roll.
Oh my.
And 10 is the number to beat.
I don't believe my epitaph comes into play here, so it's just gonna be...
I don't think so either.
And I fail by 2.
2 d6s is all it is.
Yep.
I failed too because I got a 7.
Well, you know what it is, whether...
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you were having me roll for it. Then yes. Okay.
I rolled a 5.
How are you guys so bad at this? Everyone gets an advantage because the man just went on. Everyone roll a d10 and add it to your score.
Oh.
Jeez.
13.
Oh god, what did I have? 8, 14.
Katia and Pamphlios. You don't really know Hero, but again, all of you shared the same battle encampment, so you spent some time together around the campfire and sharing meals and things like that. In this moment of stillness, And with Hero so confident that he can take on this challenge by himself, the two of you remember a story that he once told at the fire about slaying a chimera. And that is where we're going to end this evening.
All right.
Yee! Cool. So, thank you guys so much for hanging out and for watching episode 1 of Aegon. Again, next Sunday, we're going to be doing something a little bit different because both Tanya and B-Dave have another engagement. And I don't even know if we'll do it at the same time because I think I'd kind of like to watch some of that stuff. But we'll figure something else out, and then we'll be back on 2 weeks from now, so the 5th of July. We'll be back for episode 2, where we will gracefully bring B-Dave into the fold and then throw a chimera at him. It'll be a good time. It'll be a hoot. It'll be a good time. In the meantime, Mason, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, the easiest place is to find me here on Twitch at WizardXTV. I'm either WizardX or WizardXTV, or we are pretty much on every other piece of social media, so yeah.
And Miss Tanya.
Cypher Tier everywhere online. On Sundays before this game, you can find me over at the D&D Twitch channel with Rivals Waterdeep. We just started our 7th season today. And then before we come back to Aegon, Friday I'll be playing some Vampire the Masquerade in a charity game over at Vancouver.
That'll be a really good one. That's a great lineup.
We'll see what happens. It's only my 2nd time playing Vampire.
You can do it.
But our own B-Dave, Critical Bard, the Opera Geek, and Matt Mercer, among many other people, will be in that game. And it starts late for me, so 8 or 9 Pacific. So
gross.
It's a very late game. But it's for charity. And next time I'll double check time zones. And then Sunday, the game that B-Dave and I are doing with the very epic level charity game. And then some point in July, we'll be back to GMing Dragon Age. Maybe with a new cast member, maybe not. But everything has gone to the dogs or the elves and the Illuvians. So season 2 for Dragon Age will start back up in January on the Wandering DMs channel.
So everywhere, basically. We can find you everywhere.
Everywhere and always.
Everywhere and always.
Including my own channel on rare occasions.
Yeah. That Animal Crossing stream is really zen. It helps me chill out in the mornings. Are you still working on the YouTube stuff that you needed to get done, or has that been blown out of the water by now?
For follow subscribers, yes. Hours watched, no.
Okay, cool. Well, if you want to see more of Tanya's work, if you want to see the cool stuff that she does, she is a master RP goddess, and you can go check her out on YouTube or here on Twitch, whatever you are more comfortable with, whatever you can put on at work while you're doing things and enjoy. Justice, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me right here on Saturday mornings doing our Saturday morning cartoon series. We have the indomitable Anne Richmond joining us again this following Saturday to wrap up her Calypso and Wonderland story. You can also find Diana and I on Like Seven Spoons channel on Tuesdays for Treasure Tuesday, as well as Sometime Vampires with Mason on Q Times on Fridays, and bouncing all around. We're trying out a lot of different stuff, so keep an eye on Bard and Barbarian as well as our socials. You can find us on social at Bard and Barbarian, or myself at Stash Dude.
And you can always join our Discord to see what kind of games we're going to be playing. We're big fans of trying out new systems, so that's kind of what Aegon is. And I will mention, because he's not here, B-Dave Walters does tons and tons of vampire stuff on Q Times, LA by Night, all that good stuff. He has a Patreon where he'll give GM tips and run games if you're wanting to learn how to play those things. Literally everything on the internet, I'm pretty sure B-Dave has done. He does one-on-one shots on Sundays. Tanya was one of the participants in that. So it's good stuff. We've got an amazing crew here, and I can't wait to do more. And hopefully I don't kill them all or run them off in the first few episodes. So enjoy your evening. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you next Saturday for Saturday morning cartoons. Good night, everybody.
Bye.